And so as the boba is falling in slow motion, it's time to destroy it. Alright, so I know it's not just me, but like, has bubble tea became a lot more popular recently? Like, it's always been popular, I've always seen, those memes that, those stupid millennials would make of like, I love my bubble tea, haha, or, whatever millennials say. But it's like, I don't know, bro, these days, it's like almost everyone I see around me has like bubble tea. Who knows, at this point, my newborn son might like pop out with a bubble tea, you know what I mean? In fact, the irony of this video is that on my way home, I stopped by to get a bubble tea. That's what even inspired me to make this video. And look, even if you're not a developer, okay, still stick around, okay, still, stay with us, chill with us, grab your snacks, your bubble tea or whatever, because we are going to be making the life-changing large bubble tea in Roblox. I don't know, I don't have a good name for it. All right, so first things first, all right, we need a cup model. And the reason we need a cup model, the reason I'm even doing this in the toolbox is because I'm a very stupid person when it comes to modeling, and I just took a screenshot by accident. Because look, okay, I'm actually an amazing scripter, all right? Look, people in the comments might be like, oh, but you're using, why are you using wait for child? I'm using wait for child because I like women, okay? That's why I use wait for child. Why can't I move this? Let's add a couple of modifications, okay? I mean, it says it's a glass cup, but the material is smooth plastic. I mean, that doesn't make much sense, does it? And there we go. Look at that. I mean, to be fair, it just looks like a basic cylinder at this point in the middle of nowhere. It has an inside, I think. Yes, it does. The next thing we gotta do is we need to actually make a boba spawner. Okay, so boba, those like black balls, okay, inside of the thing. Yeah, so we need to actually start generating them, okay? What I think we'll do, very simple. I'll just create a part and I'll call it boba spawner, or I mean topping spawner, but who cares? Set the transparency to be 1, meaning fully invisible, can collide, can carry, can touch, all off, and anchored true. And then let's just position it to be around in the middle of the cup, okay? Because we're actually going to be spawning all of our toppings from this invisible part, right? So we want to actually ensure that it's directly in the middle and probably slightly above the cup as well, because that's where all the boba is going to be falling from. And so just to test this right now, I can just make a script real quick inside the boba spawner, and we could do something where like every 0.1 seconds, okay, what we could do is we could just create a brand new part. We could parent it to the workspace just so we see it, and we can set its position to be equal to the script.parent position, which script.parent is the boba spawner. Okay, so if I run the game right now, there we go. The one thing that I don't quite like though is that all of the parts are being generated in the same position. But what I'll do, I'll just actually vary it a little bit. So, we'll take the script.parent.position and then we'll just add on another position. So vector 3 is an X, Y, and Z, which is what a position is. A position is a vector 3. So basically it's gonna increase the X, Y, and Z of the position by a random number from 1 to 3, okay? And so now, yeah, there we go. It's gonna look more like this. It's more varied now, more randomized. And yeah, but look, okay, we probably don't want to just summon parts for toppings, right? Because, okay, number one, that looked horrendous, bro. Did you see that? Like, imagine seeing that in your bubble tea. I would throw it back. Not in that way, but And the second thing is that this line is too long, okay? So, I mean, that's not really a valid complaint, but if we can fix it, why not? So what I'm thinking is I want to have 4 different bobas, okay? And yeah, so I've actually looked this up and look at that. So yeah, we have our basic boba, lychee jelly, lychee jelly, looks like coconut jelly. We have Oreo, that's actually really cool. And I've just found this high quality picture, which has dragon fruit popping boba, if I'm reading that correctly at all. We're adding that 100%. So let's actually add, I think just the boba, okay? Just make it a sphere, okay? Make it slightly big, like around this, right? Just call it, boba. It's gonna be our basic boba. We're gonna set the color to be like a very, very dark blue. And then because I want it to actually be reflective, ooh, yeah, that actually looks way better. And then what I'll do is I'll actually duplicate this, right? I'll just move it over here. This will be the dragon fruit boba, okay? Literally same thing, except the color will be a brighter pinkish red. I want to add the lychee jelly, or like, I don't know, the coconut jelly. I mean, look, okay, it's called lychee jelly, but look, let's be realistic, okay? Who here knows what lychee or lychee actually is, right? Who here knows what coconut is, okay? If you look at the poll, more people will know what a coconut is, so we're gonna do coconut jelly. And for the Oreo, right, I guess I could go into Blender and, learn modeling and do the Oreo cookie. Or look at how cool this looks. Okay, do we straight up want to put a whole Oreo like chocolate cookie inside of it? Because I'm pretty sure that here, yeah, it's just the crumbs, right? So I think what I want to do, let's see, we have the biscuit bottom, biscuit top, and icing. Okay, let's remove the icing and let's just remove the bottom biscuit. Okay, so we're just going to be left with the top biscuit. I'll just move it outside of the model and I'll just call this Oreo. There we go, beautiful, look at that. We have all of our toppings effectively ready, right? So we actually want to store them somewhere, right? So I'll make a folder for toppings, and then I'll just, select all of the coconut jelly, boba, dragon fruit, not base plate, Oreo, although that should be funny. I should try that at the end of the video, and then we'll just put all of them inside of replicated storage. And so now real quick, let's actually just test this out, right? So we could just do local boba is equal to game, replicated storage, what was it called, toppings, boba, clone. So we're going to clone the boba. We're going to set the boba's position equal to the script.parent position, right? We're still going to make the position slightly random, but I'll do that later. And then I'll just say boba.parent. Probably should make a folder actually for all the spawned boba. So I'll just say spawned boba. Okay, so it's going to be in the workspace dot spawn boba. There we go. Okay, so if I run the game right now, yeah, look at that. Beautiful. And then what if instead of boba we do like Oreo, for example, right? How would that look? Oreo is not a valid member. Oreo is not a valid member. My bad, boys. I'm a little slow today. Oh wait, is the Oreo? Oh, you know what? I think I understand why. It is spawning the Oreo. What I forgot to ensure is that the Oreo isn't anchored, which I'm pretty sure it is. Yes, it is. Okay. Look at all these Oreos falling. That's amazing. All right, so that's pretty cool. We're actually getting somewhere, right? What I want to do right now is I want to make like a big part that's going to have buttons, okay? And then when you click on the buttons, it's going to allow you to basically change what topping, comes out. It's going to allow you to toggle the topping. So, turn it on or off, and then probably like a sell button or something, right? Where you click and then it like gets rid of all the toppings in exchange for cash or something. All right, so after a year of hard work and dedication, I've made this beauty of a mainframe. And I know it looks confusing, but basically the process is, this is the mainframe. These are all of the buttons, okay? So basically the goal here is that we're going to click these buttons, and then, this is going to be for the boba, this is going to be for the dragon fruit boba, this is for the coconut jelly, this is for the Oreo. And this isn't really meant to be a scripting tutorial, but if you are like following along with me, then make sure that these are named exactly the same as whatever toppings you have in the replicated storage, right? Because that's going to come up soon. And then these two buttons on the bottom, this is just going to be the toggle button, and this will be the sell button. And so the first thing we need to do is we need to add a click detector to all of these parts, right? So this will basically allow us to detect when a part has been clicked, all right? So I'll just put a click detector inside all of these parts, and then I'm gonna add a script inside of the mainframe. So the very first thing I wanna do is I wanna script the sell and the toggle button, okay? So I'm gonna make a variable for local main is equal to script.parent, right? So script.parent being the mainframe. And so then to get the sell button, we need to say main.sell_button.click detector.mouse click connect function, which will give us the player who clicked on the sell button. So what we're gonna do, right, because all of the toppings that spawn are gonna be inside of this, spawned boba folder, what I'm thinking we do is we just loop through everything that's inside of this folder, we delete it, and then every time we delete something, we like add some cache to the player, right? So I can just say local cache, make it equal to 0, okay? And then here we can just say for I, v in workspace spawned boba get children do. So we're gonna loop through all of the children inside spawned boba. And then we're just gonna say v destroy. So v here is equal to the item that we're looping through. So we're gonna destroy the item, and then we're just gonna increase cache by like 3 or something. Okay, so one topping is worth $3. That's pretty expensive. And then we can just, print like, I don't know, player.name has sold their toppings for, then we'll add a $, and then cache. The next thing I want to do is I want to script the toggle button. How do we actually toggle how can we actually tell the boba like, hey, right now you should dispense boba, and right now you shouldn't? So what I think we can do is inside of the mainframe, I'll make a bool value, right? Simply, this is an object that holds the value of either false or true, okay? And I will name this value can spawn boba. And so by default, the value is going to be false, okay? And so all we're going to do is whenever the player hits the toggle button, we're just going to say main, right, dot can spawn boba dot value. And then the way we toggle the value, so toggle means like, okay, if it's false, then make it true. Or if it's true, then we do false, right? Meaning we're setting the value to the opposite of its current value. So if it's false, the opposite of false is true. So we're setting it to true and vice versa. And then I'm thinking we probably also want to change the color of the toggle button. So right now it's red, right? So I'll just copy this. And so right after we change the value, now we can do our if statements. Or now we can say, okay, if main can, spawn boba.value, then meaning if this value is true, then we can do something, right? Else, meaning if the value is false, we'll do something else, right? Which in this case is changing the color, right? So if can spawn boba is false, this should be red, right? So we can just say main.toggleButton.color is equal to color3.fromRGB and these numbers. But then if we can spawn boba, then this value should be green, right? So we can just copy this over, but then instead of a red, let's just get a nice greenish color, like so. And so if I just real quick play the game, right? I know, this isn't fully functioning, but like if I click on this, there we go. All of the toppings are gone and I get $123. And if I click on this, the color switches. Okay, great. Obviously, it doesn't actually toggle anything because we haven't actually set it to do that. But, the fact that the color changes is good. And so now all we need to do is we need to just loop through this buttons folder. And so here, V is going to be the button, right? So we can say v.click detector, because remember, all of them have click detectors, right? So basically, whenever any button gets clicked inside of the buttons folder, we will know, right? And this will run. So what I'm thinking we do, right, is first, let's actually add a highlight to the button. In case you don't know what a highlight is, it's just this, right? Makes the button highlighted, gives it an outline, you can see it through walls, right? Gives it this nice red tint as well. So yeah, we can just say, instance.new highlight, and then we'll parent it inside of the button. But then also something that I just realized is we probably actually want to delete all of the highlights from the previous buttons, right? Because if I click the Oreo and then it gets a highlight, and then I click another button, I want the highlight from the Oreo button to be gone, right? So the way we can do this is we can do another loop. We can't do a for IV because I and V are already taken. So we can be very original here and just say IIVV, right? Which makes it even more of a confusing, unreadable mess, but it's fine. We'll work with what we got. Okay, so we'll do the same thing, main, buttons, get children, do, and here we'll just say if VV find first child, highlight, destroy, end. So basically, whenever we click a button, we're gonna first loop through all of the buttons, and then if we find a highlight, then we destroy it, and then we assign a highlight to the button that we just pressed. The next thing is we need to actually know, okay, but which boba has been pressed? Has it been boba, dragon fruit boba, coconut jelly, Oreo, etc., right? And for this, what I'm thinking we do is we make another value, but instead of a bool value like we did before, we'll make a string value, right? And I'll just call this current boba. And so all we're going to do is we're just going to say, main.current boba.value is equal to v.name. Okay, so the button's name. So as you may remember before, this is exactly why I told you to name these buttons the same as the toppings inside of replicated storage. Because let's say I click on the button that says Oreo, right? Well, then this current boba now to value is going to be Oreo because that's the name of this button, right? And so then inside the boba spawner script, I can just say, instead of what it's doing right now where I'm telling it to pick Oreo, I will just tell it to go inside of the replicated storage toppings folder and find the item with the same name of the current boba value. And yeah, so that actually should be everything for this script. And the very last thing we need to do is to actually make sure that, these values, can spawn boba and current boba are working with the boba spawner. And actually what I'll do is I'll set the value to be boba by default. So we're going to get the value of the current boba. And also what we're going to do is we're going to get the value of can spawn boba, which is equal to, can spawn boba. And so the last two changes we need to make is just check if can spawn boba is equal to false, then continue end. So continue means that we're going to stop this loop and then move on to the next one. So it's just going to restart again from the start. But if can spawn boba is true, meaning we can spawn boba, right? Then instead of going to game replicated storage toppings and then getting the Oreo, now we can't just say current boba. It's not going to let us, right? Instead, you have to do it in square brackets. Square brackets, current boba, clone, like so. All right, so as you can see, it's red, so nothing's coming out. If I switch this to green, there we go. There's our boba. What if I set it to be an Oreo? Look at that. Now it's Oreos. What if I set it to be the dragon fruit boba? Now it's the dragon fruit boba. And then if I set it to be the jelly, okay, you can't actually see the jelly because I just realized the glass is actually obstructing it. But if I were to do free cam, which is Shift P, there we go. There's our jelly. And yeah, beautiful. So all of the highlights are, working as intended. That is amazing. The toppings are beginning to fall out. Unironically, bro, that looks so delicious. Like, don't lie, you would eat this. And so as the boba is falling in slow motion, it's time to destroy it. And I've just made a whopping $1,941. Yeah, so honestly, for a video which was made just because I got bubble tea while I was, walking home and I thought this would be a fun idea to try out, I could very well see this becoming like some simulator game. Like you could make some bubble tea simulator, right? Where like the player, fills up their cup with, various toppings. And then once the cup gets, overflown, you can like automatically toggle it off and then, help them sell stuff for cash. Which if you are a beginner developer and that does sound interesting, give me me like 10 seconds to plug my course, okay? It's in the description or in the pinned comments. And the course is basically about making a very similar game, except it's a pet simulator and not a bubble tea simulator. And it has like, you know, data storing and everything. So to everyone in the comments asking me, oh, ByteBlocks, when is the data storing tutorial? It's in my course, bro. The course is like 30 bucks or something. I don't know. Let me know what other food items you want me to recreate in Roblox. And as always, we are back to basics. Thank you for watching.